Hi guys, a very good morning and welcome to Africa and Beyond a Television Network. We have seen the firing of the CIO boss. We have seen the reshuffling of the ministers. And it's something which is very, very important. Don't look at the reshuffling of the ministers. It was done to just overshadow the firing of the CIO boss. And I'm privileged to talk about something which is very, very important, which is ongoing at this point in time. And I have full authority to talk about it. So the issue is that there is a meeting which happened last night. And that is a very, very important meeting. And there are certain people who were restricted from leaving Zimbabwe yesterday because they believe these people were supposed to be joining that meeting. So I'm not so sure about which country this meeting was held, but it's here in the SADC region. And the things are not well. And the idea is that there are meetings which are happening between the G40 and the Securocrats. That is the belief. And there is no 100% information on the side of the dynasty. They do not have enough information. That is the reason why they are running around. But interestingly, Nick Mangwana has issued a statement this morning and said former G40s, now at 6s and 7s, they are all over the place. This is what he's saying, and this is in response to some issues which are happening, which led to the firing of the CIO director. Whether he was fired or he was replaced or whatever the argument it might be, the major issue is that this man failed to protect his own boss. The major issue or the major concern is that there are certain reports which are not reaching him, which are not reaching even the minister, which are not reaching even the proxy directors who have been hiding or who have been tapping information from the organization. It seems as if key information is not reaching the man himself. That is the reason why he needed another man to try and do the dirty works. So he has tried to put a man with links within the CIO to try and bring back trust within the organization, such that he might be able to get critical information which he doesn't have. So remember, Moyo is his right-hand man. They are friends. So his removal from that desk is not he has been removed because of something else. It's because he is unable to get critical information, which is very, very important at this stage. The major issue is, how is that information getting to the other side? Because it seems as if G40 is well ahead. It seems as if the general is way ahead. And the major question is the G40 and the general working together? There is no information at this point in time which suggests that the general is working with the G40. It seems as if the G40, they are actually outmaneuvering the general, outmaneuvering ED, and they are trying to make their way through because they believe Kuti Chiwenga, if he manages to cling on to the 2028 agenda, if he leaves, you will have to go to 20 Chakadaro. And what it means is they will leave the ZANU-PF dead and it will never be rescued again. So the attempt by Team G40 is to try and save ZANU-PF. But the major question is this the right time for them to save ZANU-PF? Personally, I doubt. So as we have said in earlier messages, we now have several factions within the Securocrats and within those from the fortresses. We now have several factions. I think if not 3, we have 4 factions. The one which is loyal to the dynasty, the one loyal to the general, the other to G40, and the other to Mr. Whosoever. So what is very, very important is to note that Mr. Whosoever does have the command of the middle-ranked officers, the command of the junior officers in both organizations, both the military, the CIO, the police, the prison service, and in the judiciary. So that is something which is very, very important because these institutions which I have mentioned, they make up key decisions in this country. And also from the top echelons who compose the war veterans, or the part of the war veterans who are still in the trenches, the young man is actually gotten a key command element, which is very, very important in terms of making decisions. So at this point in time, they will focus more on G40, and G40 is making the right move because it makes the regime deviate its efforts and power from the center of everything. And now they are now watching and looking at G40. Imagine if somebody could just book a flight and could just fly out of a country, and everyone is stand to say, find out where he's going, find out who is meeting, or find out who is in the same city with him, who is part and parcel of the securocrats. It's very, very interesting to see such things happening. And, you know, it's a moment where private jets are now being put into use. I have seen a lot of people talking about my private jets Zimbabwe at this point in time, which are parked at critical airports. The issue is those private jets are now doing the business which they were purchased for. So they were purchased in the names of certain individuals who will be flaunting money, but those jets are now being used to quickly make moves and track certain individuals when they are doing whatever they are doing. So it depends with the countries which these meetings will be held, with security. So if you are seen in that country at the same time with some people, just know one. So it's very, very interesting to see what is happening. And at this point in time, I can tell you 2025 is the most dangerous year for the regime. It's the most dangerous year for the regime, and very, very interesting moments ahead. So we are going to wait and see what is going to happen. But from now, fireworks, fireworks, fireworks. The man does not know who to trust anymore. Vanuvese seems to be enemies. A lot of people have been trying to call him. They cannot get a hold of him. He is actually busy at this point in time, and no one knows why he is busy all of a sudden. So I'm not so sure if General is back, and we need to look at it, but critical things are happening in the nation of Zimbabwe. This year is going to be very, very critical. Remember, shots have been fired. They've been told it's now public, in the public domain. The speakers of the other side have said 2025 is the year, which means everyone else is watching, looking at what is going to happen, which means it's no longer an issue of trusting each other. It's now an issue of outmaneuvering each other. But in my own view, I feel that G40 is making mistakes, and they will continue to make mistakes because they don't have numbers. They don't have the necessary equipment or the necessary people to execute whatever they want to execute. If you look on the dynasty, it's crumbling. Team Chiwenga, it's crumbling. G40, they seem to be on top of the game, but they're also going to crumble. There is one person who is feared, a lady in Zimbabwe at this point in time. Guys, I am telling you this. That lady, G40, everyone else is talking about that lady. Every corridor. But I've seen apologies. People are calling her to just to apologize. I'm not so sure who she met. I'm not so sure who she was seen with. But guys, that information is very, very critical. And that is what is going to shape the narrative and shape whatever which is going to happen. So people are now asking, if this lady could be seen in such a position or in such a place, and at the same time, she's seen in another position or at another place or in another place with someone else again, is she the runner in between? Can we touch her? Definitely not, because she carries a lot of influence and a lot of weight in these political issues. So it's no longer a season of conspiracies. It's a season of telling the truth as it is. this is what is happening. So, you know, sometimes we don't need to rush or to be ahead of time. We need to be behind because we are in a very critical season. And as usual, we will be moving behind and telling it is at this point in time, count 4 factions in the political arena. And these 4 factions, anemudzi panzvimbo 1, but 1 faction in a command iri kudiwa nemunhu wese, and there is information which is moving in critical areas, critical places where certain structures are being told kuti hatichada nhengi tavakuda nhengi, and that nhengi ari kunzi tavakuda wacho, guys, hapana mira mushe. So this is what is happening at this point in time. I just want to warn everyone, be safe wherever you are. And there are people who have sacrificed kuti kana ndafa ndafa, and I'm in that category. This is the most interesting year, and we will be definitely looking forward to see who is going to win. I'm running with my advocate. I'm running with my president. I support him. It doesn't mean that we know each other or whatever. I don't know him. He doesn't know me, but just know that I support him because he is my president. I voted for him, and I will continue to do everything possible to make sure that we speak about change, we talk about change. Will the new appointment save Emmerson Mnangagwa? It's too late. It can't. It might delay, but it won't save him because the critical people are very difficult to capture. They are very, very difficult to understand whatever they are doing because the 3 key intelligence agencies in the nation of Zimbabwe, all of them, they are not giving enough information for the incumbent or for the regime, which means a lot is happening. Let us meet in other episodes as well as other broadcasts as we continue to look at what is happening in the nation of Zimbabwe. This message from Nick Mangwana is a very, very critical. Keep it, and it will tell you what is going to happen next.